Hello, this is a place called Ryde on the Isle of Wight, just off the south coast of England, the mainland over there. And one of the things that I've heard said over many years about me and what I do is that I do it all for the money, and that I make millions of pounds a year. I think it was 5 million, someone said, and they said they knew that. Oh, really? I wish I did. And apparently I live in this mansion and drive a Bentley. Not that I want a Bentley, therefore I don't drive one. And this is my Bentley. Here it is. It's a saloon car that you see being driven all over the place all the time. It's a few years old, not complaining about that, but some of the ludicrous things that are said, like, you know, I have a Bentley and a mansion and earn millions of pounds a year, it's just insane. So what we're going to do is show you me mansion. It's lovely. Not only is my mansion lovely, it's so big, and it's got electric gates, so people can't get in unless I open the electric gates. You know, I know all this is a fact because I've read it in a few places, and a few things have gone around about all this bloody nonsense. So come and see me mansion. I've put the butler on alert, so he'll be ready to talk to us and get us a cocktail. But the truth is usually, as always, rather different from the myth. Home sweet home. Here it is, my mansion with its pillars. Oh, it's so select. And people say, oh, look at that big house he lives in on the Isle of Wight. But what they don't mention is a little nicety. It's a block of flats. And I only live in one of them. And if my flat was any smaller, it'd be home for rabbits. Let me show you around, won't take long. Number 8, Infinity, apparently. Come in. Excuse the mess, they're my light bulbs. I've been buying light bulbs. You know the old light bulbs? Before they banned them in Europe and brought in these twiddly green things that are cumulatively lethal. In fact, more than cumulatively if the mercury gets out. Well, they give off chemicals and radiation and all that stuff, so before the ban came in, I built loads of these bloody light bulbs, and I've got a place for most of them, but they're going to have to sit there. I'd rather they be there than have the other light bulbs. This is the biggest room of my mansion, and as you can see, I don't come in this room very much, but when I do, it's usually sitting there working, because it's a constant thing, it's a constant unravelling story of research and information and communication all the time. There's a bit of a theme of lions in here, you won't be surprised to know. That's Neil Haig's original there, of the front cover of Human Race Get Off Your Knees. Absolutely brilliant it is. And I sit there in my chair in the evening, fiddling away here, having a chat with my lion. And this is a picture that my little granddaughter did for me of a lion, of a granddad, and absolutely brilliant that is. And there's a bit of a theme here as well. If you look at the pictures, they're pictures of the Isle of Wight, the Needles Lighthouse, and some of the lovely country. And I was crazy about steam trains when I was a kid, and I fell in love with the Isle of Wight, first of all because of the steam trains. And over the years I've picked up these little prints of Isle of Wight railway scenes as they were when I was a kid. Another theme is my friends. Okay, this is Len. This is Lenny the lion, and which I got from, when my grandkids come. They love him. This is Rudolph here. Now, my flat is so big. My mansion is so big that when I got this for my grandkids at Christmas to put out when they come round, I realised after Christmas got nowhere to put it, so it has to stay out all the year round. So we're having a all year round Saturnalia with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, I'll show you the rest of the place. Oh yeah, this is a doorstop. My grandkids love that as well. That's Ollie the Owl, not Moloch. Ollie the Owl. Yeah, they love him. Okay, that's the biggest room, and I tell you, that's just about it. So here's my toilet and bathroom, and I've talked about sitting in my bath playing with my duck. There you go. There he is. That's a radio. My daughter bought that to me out for Christmas. It floats on the water, playing radio stations. And here's my kitchen. And if you've got a catch, don't swing it because it will hit its head. It's like a little galley on a boat, but for me, it's perfect. Suits me perfectly. But obviously, the kitchen maid's day off, And this is my bedroom, and that's it, really. Nice window view out there across the garden in the centre of the square, and the only other room to show you is where it all goes on, really, where I spend most of my life. Again, don't swing a cat, but it's good enough. I got all my books up there, and got my mother up there. My mother died quite a few years ago now, and my brother had a blow-up picture to put on display at the funeral, so you could remember her for what she really was, rather than this no longer functioning body computer in this coffin. I thought it was a great thing, and so I got a copy of that. You'll see the themes of lions again around here, and this one I love. Oh God, this one I saw that, I thought it was brilliant. Integrity. The soul is dyed the colour of its thoughts. Think only of those things that can bear the full light of day. The content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become. Your integrity is your destiny. It is the light that guides your way. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So anyway, it's taken us, if I didn't talk and waffle on, it was taking us about 2 minutes, if that, to walk around this flat. It's so small. And that's not, oh, look at poor me, I've only got a small flat, that's all I want. Because my life is what I do. Therefore, I don't want the big house, I don't want the big car, don't want all the trappings of all this stuff. Because it's a strange thing that the world is such that a lot of people, find it very difficult to accept or believe that anyone would literally dedicate their life to a cause and work at it 7 days a week, sometimes 12, 15 hours, sometimes, often when I'm writing a book, because it was what they believed in. It's what they believed was right. No, there's got to be a catch. He's got to be doing it for the money. He must be making millions. He lives in a big mansion. Someone told me. Electric gates. Ooh, the Bentley. Yes, that's why he's doing it. No. Doing it because the world is in the state it is. And before I leave this reality, I want to do everything I can to make a difference. Not for me, as I'm speaking now. A few weeks from now, I'll be 60. It's not me who is 5 years of age or 15 years of age, or 20, 25, 30, that are going to have to live in this gathering Orwellian nightmare for most of their lives. But so what? Since when was what you do only about what affects you? This is how we got into this mess. This is why the world is as it is. Me, 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 me. What's in it for me, 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 me? And am I going to stand up for justice? Whoa, is the injustice against me? No. Well, no, I'm busy that day and all this stuff. I'm just trying to make a difference. Not become a millionaire. What am I going to spend it on? I mean, look at the size of the flat. I've lived here now for what, 10, 11, 12 years. Why would I do that if it was about making money? What would be the point? And given the fact that I am going to be doing this as I'm doing it now, in terms of effort, for the rest of this sojourn in this reality, until I drop, what am I going to do with it? Anyway, if it was there, because I ain't going to retire and go on Mediterranean cruises and all this stuff. You know, the situation we're in needs focus, total focus, for what's left of my life in this reality anyway. So, to those people who can't understand or appreciate that there are some who don't do it because of what they get back. The satisfaction comes from making a difference. That's what you get back. And the mansion doesn't exist, nor does the Bentley, and all this other crap. And if people would just spend more time making their contribution to what's happening in the world, instead of trying to undermine those who are trying to do that, the world would be a better place, and this control system will be coming down a lot quicker than if they don't. This whole thing about doing it for the money goes right back, funnily enough, to 1990, when I started having my then strange experiences, in 91 with the Wogan show, and I was going through all this mass ridicule, extraordinary levels of ridicule. And people said, he's only doing it for the money. I'm taking mass ridicule for the money? I can't walk down any street in Britain without being laughed at for the money? What money? Because what happened is that when this started, this change in me started to happen in 1990, I left the BBC. I didn't leave voluntarily. They got rid of me for some reason, out of nowhere. Obviously, it was part of my life path, but I didn't understand that at the time. And I went well in excess of a year, more than a year, without earning a penny, because I was trying to follow this path that was unfolding in front of me, and I didn't know what it was. And then after the Wogan show, the ridicule reached massive proportions. And after a while, I started going around talking at different places publicly in the days when nobody came. And I remember I was speaking at Liverpool University in the northwest of England, and there was hardly anybody there. And I was going to go home, as I did most times when I spoke in those days, poorer than when I arrived. And I took some questions at the end, and in this kind of, big kind of hall with nobody in it, very few. And one man stood up, he said, "What you doing with the money? Where's the money going?" I thought, where's the money going? Out of my bloody life, mate. That's where it's going. And it was like, I had a friend I used to travel with at the time, Yeva. She was lovely. She was like a Native American grandmother, lovely lady. I travelled with her quite a bit at that point, and she was very, very good for me because she was helping me try to understand what was happening in my life. And when he said, "Where's the money going?" I looked across, and she's going, "Oh God, they only knew." And so it's this kind of strange theme that to do anything, you have to be doing it for the money. It's not true. That's not to say that, I'm a poor or anything like, but over the years, there have been periods like when those early periods when I was earning nothing and just existing on what I earned from television, which was not that much, funnily enough. And then there were periods when it was just hanging on, and then there was another period around 2005 onwards when someone put the rights to my books in their own name in America, and I had to go through the federal courts to get back what I already owned. And that was a financial nightmare as well. But through those periods, you keep going. Because you believe in what you're doing, you keep going, and somehow you get through the other side. But then when you've done that, for people to say you're doing it for the money is just, well, ridiculous. And like I say, it's been a theme all along. And if they only knew how many times we were on the brink, but somehow got through. And why? Because when you're passionate about something, you find a way.